Good morning, students. So far we have seen about the socio-political situation in South Africa because of the worst system called apartheid, which separated the people of South Africa according to their race. And yesterday I told you what was the impact of this worst system called South Africa on the life of the black people. And yesterday we discussed the long answer question: why did Nelson Mandela say that the depths of oppression create the heights of characters? And today we are going to see how the meaning of freedom kept on changing to Nelson Mandela into different phases of his life. Now, when Nelson Mandela was a small child, the meaning of freedom was very different for him. For him, freedom was just the basic common things that every child enjoys. For him, he was free to swim. He was free to roam from one field to another. He was able to ride on the broad backs of the buffaloes. And he was thinking that he was able to roast the mealies under the bright stars during night in his farm. That was the meaning of freedom for Nelson Mandela. But that was when he was a small child. But when Nelson Mandela became a young man, the meaning of freedom changed for Nelson Mandela. Now, as a young man, he wanted the honorable freedom. He wanted to achieve something in his life. He wanted to achieve some aims and ambitions in his life. He wanted to earn money. He wanted to get married. That was the meaning of freedom for Nelson Mandela when he became a young man. Now, if you compare the freedom for Nelson Mandela when he was a small child and freedom for him as a young man, there is huge difference in both the things. Actually, as a small child, whatever he could do, it was a natural instinct. Can we call it a freedom? Certainly not. But as a young man, he had his self-respect and he wanted to earn money. He wanted to do something in his life. He wanted to get married. But dear students, the real turning point in the life of Nelson Mandela was his joining ANC, African National Congress. When Nelson Mandela joined African National Congress, that became the turning point in Nelson Mandela's life. And in a true sense, Nelson Mandela emerged as an outstanding world leader after joining African National Congress. Because we must understand, before joining African National Congress, Nelson Mandela's aims and objectives were confined to his own individual satisfaction. Before joining African National Congress, Mr. Mandela was only thinking about himself, about his family and about his own bright career. But when he joined African National Congress, then he started thinking in a broader sense, and now he started fighting for the self-respect and dignity of the thousands of black people in South Africa. Now he wanted to give justice to all the black people in South Africa. He wanted to give them emancipation from the worst political system called apartheid. And then he emerged as a true statesman, world figure, an outstanding leader. And this drastic change came in the life of Nelson Mandela after he joined African National Congress. Because now his dream was not to earn money, his dream was not to keep his own family happy, but he wanted to see a great, drastic, positive change in the life of all the black people. He wanted to give them justice. He wanted to free them from the worst system called apartheid. Dear students, I must correlate this in Indian context. The architect of our Indian Constitution, the Honorable Bharat Ratna Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, could have earned lakhs of rupees, but he also did not earn money for himself, but he also fought for giving justice to thousands and lakhs of people from the evil system of casteism in Indian context. Similarly here, Nelson Mandela, the world figure, the true statesman, he fought for decades and decades together to give emancipation to black people from the worst political system called apartheid, when for 300 years the white people had done great injustice and, as Mr. Mandela calls it, an extraordinary human disaster. But this drastic change came into his life after he joined African National Congress, and the result we could see that on 10th May 1994 he became the first black president in the history of South Africa, and he became the president of truly democratic and non-racial government in South Africa. This was all possible because he joined ANC, he joined African National Congress, and in this way you can compare the changing meaning of freedom in the life of Nelson Mandela when he was a small child, when he was a young man, and when he became a great leader, when he fought not only for himself but he fought for the thousands of black people, and in this way the meaning of freedom changed for Nelson Mandela. So students, I do hope that you understand how the meaning of the freedom kept on changing in the life of Nelson Mandela. Now, in the final phase of the lesson, Nelson Mandela talks about the oppressor and oppressed. Now, who is oppressed? One who is receiving a lot of injustice and torture. And oppressor is the person who takes away the freedom of some other person. Now, Mr. Mandela feels that both the oppressor and oppressed are deprived of the best qualities, and both are not free, and both of them should be liberated. Both of them should get the freedom. Now, so far the oppressed is concerned, we can understand that his freedom is snatched away by the oppressor. For example, all the black people were behind the bars. They were in the prison of hatredness of the white people. Their life had become a great misery. They faced the nightmarish experience every moment of their life because of the worst political system called apartheid in South Africa. But Mandela feels that those who are doing injustice, the white people, those who are the oppressor, they also need the freedom. Now, this is something very complex statement, and we need to understand why Mr. Mandela failed so. Because Mandela wants to say that oppressor are also behind the bars of narrow-mindedness and prejudice. And they are the prisoner of the hatred. And as we know, to hate something or to hate somebody is the worst quality, and that is why Mr. Mandela finally says that both the oppressor and oppressed are robbed of their humanity. And that is why the oppressor should also be free from prejudice. They should also be free from narrow-mindedness, and they should also stop hating others. When they do that, they will also be liberated from the prison of hatred. And that is why Mr. Mandela says that both the oppressor and oppressed should be liberated. So dear students, let us sum up the main gist of this story, the central idea of this story. This is the story, this is the lesson which tells us a great fight of Nelson Mandela and the like-minded leadership who fought against the apartheid, and how he was elected as the first black president, and he had taken the oath on 10th May 1994 as the first black president of South Africa in Pretoria, in Union Buildings Amphitheatre, in first democratic non-racial government of South Africa. And when he had given the emancipation to thousands of the black men, and they were now able to live as a human being, and the world had restored all the diplomatic relationship with South Africa. And of course, the entire credit goes to an outstanding world leader like Nelson Mandela and his